Kicking off the list at number 10. Harley Sin. Constance Brand, aka Harley Sin, is the daughter of a billionaire, so you already know she's going to be trouble. Harley Sin first came around in 2016, making her first appearance back in Gang of Harleys issue 1. First of all, the look of Harley Sin, I'm here for it. She's got that Rocky Horror Picture Show vibe, she's a badass. The second issue, titled Hit 'Em Where It Hurts, we see the tattooed badass punk put in some work. She meets Harley Quinn, and during a fun little introduction panel, we see Sin say the words, "I'm the person that's going to be killing each and every one of your useless gang." So right off the hop, she's kind of a big deal. I don't know, she's in a bad mood. So this rich billionaire father I mentioned earlier, yeah, Harley Sin's father in fact is believed to be Donald Trump, or at least he was drawn and characterized to resemble him. That plus the tattoos, drug addictions, and lust for violence, you got yourselves quite the villain. And before we move on to number 9, make sure if you guys haven't done so already to go ahead and click that like button. It helps us out a bunch here at the studio, and it's this one, not this one. Unless you're a Spider-Man, then maybe it's that one. Go ahead and click that one.
Number 9. Grail. Grail is the villainous daughter of Darkseid and basically acts as an opposing force to Wonder Woman. The two women were born at exactly the same time, and it was prophesied that Grail, the daughter of Darkseid, and Myrna would bring about much destruction. As such, she was almost killed as soon as she was born, but her mother protected her. She proved almost right away in the comics that she was a new villain worthy of our time when she made easy work of the Justice League. She and Diana ended up facing off shortly thereafter, but their fight was interrupted. However, they would continue to clash during the Darkseid War, and likely will keep doing so, as Grail was basically designed to be the perfect foil for Wonder Woman. Grail was first introduced in Justice League Volume 2, Issue 40.
And number 8. Godspeed. August Hart, aka Godspeed, made his first debut not too long ago in the Flash Rebirth Volume 2, Issue 1. With a name like Godspeed, one can only assume the powers in which they'll contain. Super speed, which is also my favorite superpower on the low. Created by Joshua Williamson and Carmine Di Giandomenico, sorry if I butchered that name, I tried 7 times. Godspeed stands out from the rest of the speedsters because of one badass reason. He can separate speedsters from the Speed Force. Now if you watch the CW's Arrowverse, you know what I'm talking about already. August Hart was also a detective, a former partner of Barry Allen, to be frank. And then along comes a force storm in Central City, and all of a sudden you have these godlike powers. Pretty ideal powers for a hero, and also a villain. That's right, as you would have guessed by clicking this video, he doubles as a villain on the low. So he became the Flash's partner while secretly becoming Godspeed the villain. Not cool, dude. Why'd the villain move though? Well, when August's brother was murdered by a criminal, he was released due to insubstantial evidence. So August decides to confront the Black Hole organization after they had stolen property from Star Labs. He sees their symbol that resembles one at his brother's crime scene. Interesting. So while confronting him, that's when the Speed Force lightning strikes. I feel like if I was a speedster, I would just be like Quicksilver. I'd hang out in the basement, play some stolen video games. Is it really that hard to just chill out? I know you're angry, but like, it's all good. Speed walk it off.
Number 7. Perpetua. Perpetua is an old evil, but one that we didn't know of in the comics until 2018 when she was first introduced in Justice League Volume 4, Issue 8. Perpetua quickly became known as one of the greatest evils the universe, or multiverse really, had ever known. She was the creator basically of all things, and the mother to the Anti-Monitor, World Forger, and Over-Monitor. Billions of years ago, she was betrayed by her own children and trapped in the Source Wall along with her devastating and deadly creatures, the Apex Predators, a vicious combination of Martians and humans. Yeah, she really old. Perpetua was the one ultimately responsible for the crisis in the DC universe, as it was her whisperings from within the Source Wall that brought them about. The energy allowed her prison to weaken, cracking a little more each time there was a crisis, which was how Perpetua planned to escape. She was eventually freed when the Source Wall broke as a result of Barbatos and the Batman Who Laughs actions, allowing her to once more wreak havoc on the world and earn back her power so she might rebuild the universe again in her own horrifying image.
Number 6. The Kindred. Making its first appearance in the Multiversity Guidebook number 1, the Kindred is this cosmic force that appeared after the Rebirth event. Created by Grant Morrison, the Kindred is a 4-part entity, and they each represent DC lore, so those 4 being the Speed Force, magic, cosmic power, and emotional light spectrum. So they have a handle on pretty much any angle out there. Now this is a villain list, so this is bad news for us. or rather bad news for pretty much any world. For starters, they take all of the energy from living creatures. That's how they come together. Nice, teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Also tears. So off the bat, these guys are just OP. I love the look of these celestial gods though. They each have like their own color. Even if Brian Hitch wrote them into his run with the Justice League, with destruction being the driving force, this is still kind of a villain that even I'll root for. I said it, sue me, what's up?
Number 5, Punchline. So Punchline has to be one of my favorite of the newest villains we've seen. I didn't want to like her when she was announced, especially as I thought she was going to be like some new younger version of Harley Quinn, which I didn't really think that we needed. But then I met Punchline and I gotta say, I like Alexis. She's okay by me. Punchline's real name is Alexis K, and we learned her backstory in the Joker 80th anniversary special. She sought out the Joker believing that his ideology matched or at least suited her own. She has displayed some pretty sweet chemistry and toxicology skills, making Batman his own special version of the Joker venom. How nice. Which tormented him through most of the Joker War story, and has proven how deadly she can be with her stilettos when she managed to land a life-threatening hit on Harley Quinn. I really hope we get more Punchline in the near future. I was pleasantly surprised by how different and interesting she is in comparison to Harley Quinn, and I also just love her character design. Punchline first appeared in Batman Volume 3 in issue 89.
Number 4, Eradicator 2. With that name alone, oh boy, you already know what's coming. The Eradicator 2 was created, of course, after DC's rebirth with the absence of the original Eradicator. Another big bad version was bound to show up. I mean, we expected it. So of course, this is the newer version of Eradicator from the 80s comics. But the best part is that he still has the 80s look. He's got the retro, badass glasses, which are such a nice touch, by the way. Just by looking at this guy, you can tell he's the coolest. Created by General Zod, this AI ended up taking on the physicalities of Superman, hence the everything about him. So when this badass AI is close to a yellow sun, he gets powered up real good. I'm talking the usual super strength, stamina, flight, speed, and he's basically invincible. A cool but scary power that he also obtains is that of energy manipulation, because he's made of course, pure energy. Eradicator wasn't used too much, but I feel like Eradicator 2, since his first new appearance in Superman Volume 4 Issue 2, at the very end we see his rebirth, and it's beautiful. Once the Kryptonian gene is detected back on the Fortress of Solitude, energy forms all around the room. There's an ID badge, some glasses, and then bam, all this mixed into one. You get this bright pop, and his opening line being, "We are here, we will save you too, Kal-El." And it's sick. He's like basically Terminator with a cape. He's got the look, there's this energy coming from him. I would love to see this guy go head to head with Henry Cavill. I mean, maybe we'll get more of a dark alternate version with the Snyder cut of the Justice League, but fine, that'll have to do in the meantime. For now.
Number 3, CLOWNHUNTER. CLOWNHUNTER is just a kid who stepped up to the plate when it came to taking back Gotham during the Joker War. Seeing his neighborhood being ravaged and attacked by the Joker gang, and having lost his parents to the Joker, he was inspired to start cracking skulls, which is exactly what he did, defending the innocent with a baseball bat with a batarang attached to it, to kill any clowns that crossed his path. His true name is Bao Pham, and at the end of the event, he was confronted by Batman himself, who suggested that he seek help and speak to a therapist. He also offered to mentor CLOWNHUNTER, but warned him that he would not tolerate the teenage Bao killing anyone else, no matter their crime. CLOWNHUNTER seemed interested in getting help, but only after his work was done. CLOWNHUNTER first appeared in issue 96 of 2016's Batman.
Number 2, the Batman who laughs. Bruce Wayne, but from Earth 22, is a touch different than the one that we know best. The Dark Universe is a very special and very vast place filled with alternate versions of characters, but one of the most notable has to be the Batman who laughs. Making his first appearance in Dark Days, the casting, this Bruce Wayne has, well, of course, similar origins that we're familiar with. Parents were murdered, became a crime-fighting bat, protects Gotham, all the good stuff. But this Joker changed his path up. Joker began murdering everybody in Gotham. He bombed a hospital and then shot the parents of the kids. Like, he's twisted, and he's also dying at the same time. He's dying from the chemicals that made him become the Joker in the first place. So of course he wanted to take everybody out with him. So when Batman stepped in and killed him by breaking his neck, the toxins from the Joker were inhaled by poor Batsy, causing this to happen. So a day later, he's joined by Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, who were training in the Batcave, and then Batman then shot all of them. And then this is just the beginning. This insane clown Batsy is terrifying and entertaining in all of the right ways.
Number 1. Ghostmaker. We don't know a lot about Ghostmaker yet. He first appeared in Volume 3 of Batman, the current run, in issue 100 as a mysterious figure. And so far, he stayed that way. We'll likely see more of him in issue 103, but so far we know he's not as new as he might appear. In fact, in Batman issue 102, Batman seems to recognize him, leading many to speculate as to which old rival Ghostmaker's true identity could actually be. We do know that he's here to challenge Batman for Gotham and to provide the people with an alternate option when it comes to choosing their hero for their city. He also comes with a ton of tech, and at this point is probably going to quickly end up being better equipped than Batman himself when it comes to gadgets, as Bruce just lost all of his fortune to Lucius Fox. Well, he gave it away, that is. And Lucius is out of the Batman game. Bruce is on his own this time around when it comes to equipping himself, and he only has his own ingenuity and the help of the Bat fam to back him up.
Starting us off in at number 10, PERAXXUS. Debuting in Justice League International issue 2 from 2011, PERAXXUS was a villain introduced during the New 52. He's described as an intergalactic menace, hopping from world to world, picking out ripe planets, destroying them, and then selling their resources. A villain for the Justice League International, he was awakened from a deep sleep in space when the Signal Men, giant alien robot scouts, were activated on Earth. PERAXXUS is not a threat to be taken lightly either. He was able to capture the entire Justice League International team, and while they were able to break free and save the Earth from his plans to destroy the planet and scavenge it, he did manage to get away, and swore revenge as he flew off into space. Moving on to number 9, David Graves. Here we have a foe of the regular Justice Leagues, David Graves, a man who was a historian and an author who was infected by a disease that paralyzed him and killed his family. So, as an author, he had written texts on Atlantis, the miracles of Fatima, and other fringe subjects. He and his family were also saved by the Justice League, which prompted him to write his most popular book, Justice League: Gods Among Men. But then his family came down with that unknown disease, for which David blamed the Justice League. He snapped, shot his doctor, and then disappeared, returning 4 years later to steal the Orb of Ra. From this, he was able to use spirits to feed off of people's misery. Graves first appeared in Justice League issue 6 back in 2012. Moving on to number 8, NECRO. Nick, who first appeared in Justice League Dark Volume 1 issue 12 in 2012, was formerly the greatest mage in New York. He was a mentor to both John Constantine and Zatanna, and he was also banished to hell. Yeah, talk about a resume. That latter bit went down when Nick betrayed his disciples on an obsessive quest to obtain the Book of Magic. He was pulled out of hell by Felix Faust, who, alongside Dr. Mist, wanted his aid to recover the Books of Magic. NECRO is also determined to get revenge on Zatanna and Constantine. This all went down in a story arc titled The War for the Books of Magic, and ended with NECRO being locked up in a metahuman facility. In at 7, Grail. First appearing in Forever Evil issue 8 from 2014, Grail is Darkseid's daughter. But she's also half Amazonian, having been born to an assassin named Marina on the very same day that Wonder Woman was born. What a person to share a birthday with. She was prophesied to cause great destruction under the command of the Anti-Monitor, and she is pretty darn powerful thanks to her new god-Amazonian hybrid physiology, able to use magic to dimensional travel, resurrect others, summon, corrupt the will of others, produce omega beams, and also, she has superhuman strength, speed, durability, stamina, all that jazz. And she's immortal, so that's fun. In at 6, Barbatos. Finally getting into some villains who debuted after the New 52 and in DC Rebirth. Gotta love continuity reboots, am I right? Barbatos is a beastly one. First debuting in Dark Days, the Casting issue 1 from 2017, Barbatos, who is also known as the Bat God, was created by someone called the World Forger. More on them later. He's an entity who was created to consume universes that were in decay. The most stable universes would become part of the DC main multiverse, and Barbatos, a dragon-esque bat creature, would be sent out to destroy the other ones. But Barbatos' lust for destruction got the better of him, and he killed his master, corrupting the Forge of Worlds, which would later become known as the Dark Multiverse. Because he no longer did his job, unstable worlds persisted and would eventually join the Dark Multiverse too. Barbatos came into contact with Batman and the rest of the League though much later, when he set his sights on destroying the regular multiverse. Oh, and side note, he also claims to be the bat that Bruce Wayne saw through the window of his home the night he became Batman. Yeah. Moving on to a much less scarier villain. In at 5, the Omega Titans. Actually, they're pretty terrifying too. First appearing in DC Nation Volume 2, Issue 0, the Omega Titans, aka the Four Brothers, or the Four Mothers, depending on the planet you're on, are a group of eons-old entities who are believed to have been the ones who created life in the universe. As the legends go, at the end of the universe, the Omega Titans are supposed to consume all life to determine which of their natures had the most impact throughout the universe. Those natures being mystery, entropy, wisdom, and wonder. They first appeared after the Source Wall was broken, the Source Wall being the barrier surrounding the multiverse, and began to consume all life on a planet called Kolu. In order to put a stop to the situation from growing more dire, Brainiac formed 4 different teams from Earth's heroes and villains in order to face the threat that the Titans posed. Now, the Titans possess immense power, capable of absorbing galaxies for energy, and they can crush planets within their fists. According to Brainiac, the likes of Superman, Wonder Woman, Etrigan, etc. are just so tiny and inconsequential to them. In at number 4, UMBRAX. Another 2018 villain here. Let's talk about UMBRAX, who first popped up in Justice League Volume 4, Issue 3. UMBRAX is another mind warp of a villain. It's a dark emotional entity, a timeless primordial force of the cosmos, which acts as the center of the invisible spectrum. So remember how we mentioned Barbatos earlier? When he was trying to take over the multiverse, his Dark Knights broke the Source Wall, and a piece of the Source Wall, known as the Totality, broke free and released a bunch of strange energies into the universe. Now this included 6 hidden primal forces, one of which broke the seal that kept UMBRAX at bay. It would unleash its power over the ultraviolet part of the invisible spectrum, and Sinestro and Lex Luthor would end up unleashing it on Earth. In at number 3, Perpetua. Introduced in Justice League Volume 4, Issue 8 in 2018, we've got yet another villain ready to give you an existential crisis. Oh, Perpetua. Perpetua is the first creator and mother of the Overmonitor, Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger. She is said to be the most feared being in the greater Omniverse. She is a super celestial, part of a race that was sent by the judges of the Source to create a new system of life within the greater Omniverse. Yeah, we are talking big stuff here. 20 billion years ago, she created the first multiverse. She then created suns to monitor each of the realms of matter within her multiverse. Flash forward 5 billion years later, Perpetua searched all of the universes within her multiverse to find those with great potential, which brought her to Earth 0. Seeing humans and Martians as imperfect, she merged the 2 species together to create something called Apex Predators, who would then serve as her soldiers to fight against the judges of the Source. When the other super celestials found out what she was up to, twisting the scale of judgment and defying her function, she was sealed away into the Source Wall. After the Source Wall was broken, she regained her corporeal form thanks to Lex Luthor and Brainiac. In at number 2, the Triumvirate of Sea Gods. Poking our heads out of the cosmos for a hot second with this number, let's talk about these 3 who first appeared in Justice League Volume 4, Issue 10 back in 2018, from a story arc called Drowned Earth Prelude, which was a prelude story, as you can probably tell. The Triumvirate are ocean deities of other galaxies. Like Poseidon is the ocean deity of our galaxy, they are to others. Now, the group is made up of Commander Drogue, Captain Gull, and Fleet Admiral Tide. They're gods, so therefore have the physiology and powers of gods. Wonder Woman even noted that Commander Drogue's power eclipses Superman's. That's intense. They lead a massive and loyal alien army, and Drogue has an alien Kraken called the Flood, who does pretty much anything he commands. They would continue to be villains of the leagues during the Drowned Earth Justice League Aquaman crossover event that led into the beginning of 2019. Speaking of 2019, that brings us to our final number in at 1, World Forger. World Forger has got one hell of a family. He is Perpetua's firstborn son and brother to Monitor and Anti-Monitor, and while he was first mentioned in Dark Knight's Metal Issue 4 in 2018, it wasn't until Justice League Volume 4 Issue 10 in 2019 that he really made his first full appearance. He also has a name beyond World Forger. It's Alpheus. After he was created by Perpetua, she assigned him to the World Forger, a place in the deep darkness beneath creation in which universes were created from the feelings and the fears of every living being in the multiverse itself. The most stable of worlds would rise into the regular multiverse, or rather, the orrery of worlds, and the unstable ones were dispatched of by Barbatos, Alpheus' dragon. And as we mentioned earlier, he was killed by his dragon. But after Barbatos was defeated by Batman in the Justice League, Alpheus was reformed in the 6th dimension. Then Perpetua was liberated and Alpheus started to create countless universes in order to create a perfect multiverse to replace the current one. Whenever a crisis occurs, aka a reboot event, something called a crisis anvil appears before Alpheus, and he strikes it with his hammer, causing a new multiverse to replace the former one, with the life energies of the prior multiverse transferring to the new one. So in other words, Alpheus has been using his hammer a whole lot in contemporary times for DC, hasn't he?
And at 10, Atomica. After Earth 3 was destroyed by a mysterious force, Atomica is able to escape to Earth Prime. Atomica intended to join the Justice League, and got into their ranks by defusing a bomb planted by the Atlanteans in their war against the surface world. Atomica was recruited into the Justice League as the Atom, but she actually had a secret agenda. She was preparing to rescue the crime syndicate. She used her hacking skills to detect the presence of a virus contained inside the body of Victor Stone, and planned on using it in her mission. When the Justice League and Justice League Dark fought in Kahndaq over Pandora's box, Atomica revealed her true motives and used the virus she discovered to shift Victor's cyborg parts away from him and make them form the grid. Pandora's box was then opened and revealed to be a portal that the crime syndicate was able to use to come to Earth Prime. Then they invaded the Earth, and everyone was trapped in the Firestorm Matrix, so yeah. And at 9, Element Woman. Emily Sung can transmute her body into different compounds, gaining her powers under unknown circumstances. And when the League was said to be defeated during the war between America and Atlantis, Cyborg recruited a group of metahumans who would be useful. Element Woman was one of them. During the meeting that came after, the Big Seven agreed that there was nobody else like Element Woman and that she was going to be very useful, so they recruited her along with Atomica and Firestorm. When the crime syndicate invaded Earth Prime, she was trapped inside the Firestorm Matrix along with the other heroes. When she was released along with everyone else, her powers had interacted in a weird way with firestorms, and she was teleported a random distance away. The ordeal left her scarred, and it didn't help when the members of the League didn't come looking for her. And at 8, MERA. MERA joined as a temporary replacement for Aquaman. The Crown of Thorns, a massive magical barrier, had been placed around Atlantis, trapping Aquaman. And after a battle with the League about breaking it down, Batman had offered that she join. During her time with the League, she had several adventures on the surface world. She was in the battle with Shirak and faced the time-displaced descendants of the League. This caused her to meet with a possible daughter from the future named Serenity. She joined in Justice League Volume 3 number 24 and still remains active to this day. She has helped the League several times since then, and the League has helped her in return. Typically not all at once, just a couple of members, like when she called on Superman and Wonder Woman to help hold the villain known as Eel hostage because she was sick and couldn't do it with her powers. And at 7, Simon Baz. Simon Baz was strapped for cash, so after giving up street racing he started stealing cars. Eventually he stole a car filled with explosives and ended up getting arrested and presumed to be an enemy of the state. He was deported to Guantanamo Bay where he was nearly tortured despite his plea of innocence. That's the moment a Green Lantern ring burst into the room, deeming him worthy and removing him from the facility. After disappearing, the League found him and he restated his innocence, even allowing Wonder Woman to golden lasso him. But the ring he had used to belong to Sinestro and Hal Jordan, so it reacted violently to the contact and he fled in fear. He joined the League in Justice League of America Volume 3 number 5 as a reserve member to be called upon when the time is needed, and he is the partner in Anti-Crime too. And at number 6, Jessica Cruz. After stumbling upon mobsters hiding a body and the murder of her friends, Jessica Cruz developed a debilitating anxiety and locked herself in a room for 4 years. During the crime syndicate's invasion, she was chosen by the Ring of Volthoom, after its owner Harold Jordan of Earth 3 was killed by Sinestro. The ring forced itself upon Jessica and took over her body and mind. Under the influence of the ring, she attacked her hometown and fought the Justice League and Doom Patrol. After Batman intervened, she was able to gain control of herself and overcome the influence of the ring. He told her that he was a victim as well, and that finding strength can overcome any fear. The Flash then called in Hal Jordan to teach Jessica how to stay in control of her ring, and under his tutelage she mastered the foreign ring. When Darkseid's daughter summoned Black Racer to kill the Flash, Jessica sacrificed herself to stop him, but in fact the entity inside the ring was the one who perished, crumbling the ring, but allowing her to become worthy of getting a new one, becoming a Green Lantern, and being assigned to work alongside Simon Baz by Hal Jordan. She joined in Justice League Volume 2 number 35 as Power Ring, then became a Green Lantern in issue number 50. Halfway through at number 5, Lobo. In DC Rebirth, Lobo was one of the villains set free by Maxwell Lord, returning him to his pre-New 52 persona. He was a part of the first Suicide Squad, but Batman eventually implants a bomb in Lobo's head and detonates it, knowing it will regenerate. When Lobo discovers that Batman did it to set him free of Max's control, he accepts Batman's offer to join a new incarnation of the Justice League to repay him. This causes him to be a founding member of the Second Justice League of America, along with Black Canary, Ray, and others. Lobo possesses strength comparable to that of Superman Superman, but this varies from writer to writer. Sometimes he's even shown as just slightly stronger than a human. His extreme durability varies as well, but he's always shown as a ruthless bounty hunter who will complete a contract once it's taken, unless he gets a counter contract for more money. Then he takes that, which is understandable and a great way to run a business. He would be on Forbes Top 100 for sure. And at 4, Ryan Choi. Ryan Choi is the teaching assistant to Ray Palmer, aka the Atom. Ryan ended up becoming a friend to Ray, where he would talk about his superhero escapades, and working alongside him had Ryan become just as proficient with the tech as Ray himself. When Ray became trapped in a remote location, he sends a message to Ryan asking him to lead the search for him. And when returning to the lab, Ryan runs into Batman and Lobo, who wanted to recruit Ray for the second Justice League of America. When Ryan says that Ray is missing, Batman leaves. But Lobo is so impressed with the equations that Ryan had written on the board that Batman recruits Ryan instead. After being recruited, Ryan travels to Oregon where he assists in the recruitment of the Ray, being another early member to join the Justice League of America too. Ryan is also considered a founding member. Ryan Choi was also introduced in the CW crossover for Crisis on Infinite Earths, and now it's been announced that Brandon Routh, the current CW Atom actor, is leaving the show but not by choice, so perhaps they're making way for another Atom since Brandon does play Ray and Ryan Choi is now here. And at 3, Killer Frost. The Rebirth version of Caitlin Snow seems remarkably similar to the CW version. This is probably where the show got the idea, especially when the first Killer Frost Rebirth comic starts off with "My name is Caitlin Snow." At some point before Rebirth started, she was captured and transported to Belle Reve, where she was forced to join the Suicide Squad. After reforming and saving the world from Eclipso, a cosmic entity representing the wrath of God, by absorbing a small amount of life force from all Justice League members and then blasting the hell out of Eclipso. Get it? Because he's the wrath of God, so he's blasting the hell out of it? No? Okay, I'll stop. As I was saying, she defeated Eclipso and saved the world, so Batman released her on parole and recruited her for the Justice League of America too. She defeated Eclipso in Justice League vs. Suicide Squad number 6 and joined the JLA 2 in Justice League of America Rebirth number 1, and is considered a founding member as well. Penultimately, at number 2, Starman. Will Payton was a 1980s superhero. He gained the abilities of flight, super strength, slight shape-shifting, altering appearance, and blasts of energy after being struck by a bolt of energy from a satellite. However, he had seemingly died fighting Eclipso. In the 1990s, it was revealed that his fate was not what it appeared. The bolt of energy that had given him his powers in the first place was revealed to be the essence of an alien prince named Gavin. Really? You're an alien prince, but your name is still Gavin? I don't care if it's spelled with a Y, come on. Who also went by the moniker Starman. A present-day version of Lex Luthor was pursuing him for his power's secrets, so he traveled back in time and captured Payton, bringing him back to the present and experimenting and torturing him. He gained crucial information that he then wiped from Will's memory. However, Will somehow managed to escape and found his way to that era's Justice League, joining them in Justice League Volume 4, number 14. Finally, in at number 1, Detective Chimp. The Justice League Dark Team was a first-wave title for the New 52. The team was supposed to be something emotionally darker, according to the creator Peter Milligan, who compared the characters to detectives who struggle to cope with the things they see and have to do. The story started off with the Enchantress's defeat of the Justice League, proving the necessity for a more supernatural team to assist in these kind of events. The team originally contained 17 members, but in DC Rebirth, the team was shortened to 7, including Man-Bat, Dr. Fate, Zatanna, Swamp Thing, John Constantine, Wonder Woman, the leader of the team, and Detective Chimp. I love that a monkey was able to become a Justice League member. Well, I mean, technically Justice League, but like, not really. Like, Justice League adjacent. Monkeys are my favorite animal anyway.